But the FCC may make it verboten to say the name Redskins during games between the Washington football team, we should call them, and the Chicago Hockey Club. Do the hockey and football teams play each other ever in cross-pollination? They ought to. It'd be more interesting than the World Series is right now, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be?
I think it'd be more interesting to talk to Alpana Singh right about now.
How about Alpana Singh?
Is that what I said? Did I mispronounce your name?
No, that was perfect.
Thank you.
A lovely segue.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, right.
It's my job
nice
here.
Pivot.
Yes.
Well, let's keep track of what you're all about. You've got a new restaurant coming up, Seven Lions. By the way, did you know that your last name, Singh, is Lion?
It's amazing what Google will unveil.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was looking that up during the break.
Wikipedia.
So it's called Seven Lions. It's going to be across the street from the Art Institute, and you are going to be a judge on the Food Truck Face-Off, which is on tomorrow night at 7 o'clock on the Food Network.
It's
so you're
exciting.
very, very busy.
Very busy.
And of course, people know you from hosting Check Please for so many years, and now having your Tony boarding house restaurant.
Thank you.
In Old Town there. And so I was just saying before we had you on that Master Sommelier, the boarding house, Check Please, a real foodie, and now you're going down market to judge food trucks?
I love food trucks. What's wrong with food trucks? No, food trucks, I've spent a lot of time in the past year learning about them, but they're a great entree, no pun intended, for young entrepreneurs looking to perhaps start their own restaurant one day, because starting your own food truck is less startup costs than actually doing a brick-and-mortar restaurant. And with the combination of social media now with Twitter and Facebook, to get your brand name out there, to build your brand name, you can, invest in the food truck, figure out a style of food that you want to do that is conducive to, getting it off the food truck. And you're like, working the city and, finding customers. And then hopefully one day you build a big enough brand where, like, this is a viable product, this is a viable interest in it, and then it's translating into a brick-and-mortar concept.
But they're not legal in the city of Chicago.
They are, as of 2013, yes. The city council passed the final ordinances to actually cook on the truck. I mean, there's still a lot of,
squabbling between the brick-and-mortar and...
Well, understandable on both sides. I own a restaurant. Do I want a food truck parked right in front of my restaurant? And so, there still needs to be a lot more work done to be able to find, places for the food trucks to be able to park. Like this is a great area where you guys are right here, in the Loop, where people can come for lunch and then, try different types of products off a food truck. So.
Were any of the food trucks seized by the government during the filming of these episodes?
Seized? Not that I know of.
Good, good. That's good. And so where do you do the judging? Was this in multiple cities or all in L.A. or...
No, we shot the episodes, the show is actually co-production between Food Network Canada and Food Network USA. So we shot a lot of the episodes in Toronto. And so, but the major cities that we focused on, including Toronto, were LA, Austin, and Miami, great food truck cities.
How did the one city differ from the other in terms of the cuisine that are offered by food trucks?
Miami, we did a lot more of a Latin spin, so we saw a lot of taco pitches or like ceviche, guacamole, things that are fresher, more tropical, have a Latin spin to it. LA seemed to have a little bit more fusion. There's a very famous food truck in LA called the Koji truck, where it takes Korean food, combines it with almost like a Mexican spin to it. So we saw, again, a little bit more fusion. In Austin, a lot of barbecue, a lot of, again, Tex-Mex, Southwest type of dishes. So it was a little bit like, okay, what would consumers want in this market?
Can't go wrong with fried okra. I assume that was part of the Texas offering.
We did actually get some fried okra here and there, yes.
So Jesse Palmer hosts the show, so I can see him being like the Ryan Seacrest character. Now, are you like the Simon Cowell judge?
We had a preview episode on Sunday, and they didn't actually let us watch any of the episodes until this is the first time I actually saw it, and I was like, oh my gosh. So, some of my facial expressions or some of my comments, and so I could maybe perhaps be seen as the tough one. But I'm also next to Steak Shapiro, who's also a sports talk radio host from Atlanta, And so Steak and I have this sort of Paula Simon Cowell sort of banter back and forth. You know, his name is Steak Shapiro.
Right.
He's a lovable meathead, and he calls me princess, and I don't like being called princess. And some of those dynamics do play out on this show.
So when you run the Chicago Marathon this year, you're hoping that, like at mile 12 or Heartbreak Hill, there's a food truck there where you can be
I think they
replenished.
should.
You are going to run the marathon.
I am going to show up, and I will run until I can no longer run anymore. So that is the plan. I did take an opportunity just because I was traveling so much and we were in these amazing cities. I thought if I, decided to have a goal to run the marathon in October, I could at least get out and see the cities that we were, filming in. So Miami, running around Toronto. And so 4.5 months, we'll see what happens with that training.
And Seven Lions, your new restaurant, when's that launch?
So we are looking to open sometime later this year, and that'll be an American clubhouse. Like I said, right across from the Art Institute. That'll serve lunch and dinner. So yes, it's been a fun, busy year for me.
And Seven Lions for like a distinguished clientele like myself.
Absolutely. You can come as you are.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that.
It's for the, what, is it for the Art Institute patrons or just for anybody?
Well, we're in a very popular stretch of Chicago on Michigan Avenue, right across from the Art Institute, one of the most tourist-drenched areas of the city, and then also with the business owners in the Loop, and also a lot of people starting to live down here. I mean, there's a lot of apartment buildings going up. I mean, they just announced 600 units over at Block 37, so there's a lot of interest that's building in this neighborhood. And
how do you
exciting.
prepare?
Good
how do you prepare a
description, too.
lion?
Very carefully.
I like the description of that stretch too, as tourist drenched.
Yes,
I think that's a
there
good
we go.
description.
Tourist drenched.
Yeah, I can see the dollar signs lighting up. Well, thank you. Good luck on all your
I
endeavors,
appreciate
and hope
that.
you make
Thank
it
you.
through all 26 miles.
We
Good luck to you.
26.2.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
two.
I don't want to
You'll
cheat
crawl the
you out of
last two.
any of
Two
those.
tenths.
Yeah. So thank you so much,
Thank
Alpana
you,
Singh,
gentlemen.
for
Thank you.
joining us.
Appreciate
Coming
it.
up at 8:19.